So you're thinking of moving to Idaho Falls. Before you start packing, there are a few crucial things that you should know before making your final decision. Let's go over them in this video. Hi, my name is Haley Wild. I'm your local East Idaho realtor, and today we're going to talk about some crucial things that are important to know before you move to Idaho Falls. Aspect number one to think about if you are moving to Idaho Falls is the weather. We definitely get all four seasons here, with winter really being our longest season. So we get some extreme cold, we get lots of snow, and then in the summer we do get some weeks of hot weather. So if you are moving here and you're not used to the seasons, they really do take some getting used to, especially the winters. If you're not used to driving in the snow, you don't have the correct vehicles for driving in the snow. So before you pack your bags and decide that Idaho Falls is the right place for you, I would recommend coming to visit in January or February and seeing just how the weather suits you. It's February right now, and outside right now is a pretty big windstorm going on. And so we do get a lot of wind in the spring, snow in the winter, and that wind and kind of really cold weather in the fall too. So if you hate cold weather, we might not be the right fit for you because we are cold for quite a few days out of the year. Aspect number two, the commute or getting around. So when Idaho Falls was first established, we didn't have a lot of people here. And now as we grow and we continue building homes and multifamily home dwellings, our traffic is getting quite a bit worse, and there aren't a lot of super easy ways to get from one side of town to the other. So for those of us who have lived here for a really long time, we feel it getting congested. We feel like the infrastructure maybe wasn't built for this many people to be moving here. And so when you come to Idaho Falls, you might be a little bit frustrated with how hard it is to get from point A to point B. The other thing is that we do not have good public transportation here. We don't have an established bus line or train line. So it is all personal vehicles. We're not really that walkable or bikeable in the city. You don't see a lot of bike lanes or a lot of sidewalks, even on some busy streets. So we are definitely a single car commuter community. So keep that in mind if you love public transport, or if you are incredibly environmentally conscious and you like to bike or walk to work. We are not a great city for that. Next on the list is cultural diversity. Now, Idaho Falls is a really great community. We're close-knit, but we don't have a lot of cultural diversity in this area yet. So if you are coming from a place with lots of different cultures and cultural experiences, you are not going to find that here. So if that is something that is important to you, being around a lot of different races and religions, Idaho Falls might not be the right fit for you. I would say it's really important to come and spend a few days or even weeks to see if the cultural diversity or lack thereof in Idaho Falls aligns with who you are and who you like to be around. So I would say that that's very important. Another critical factor you might consider is the lack of entertainment and nightlife that Idaho Falls has. Now, we do have things to do on a small scale, and we are growing and more attractions are coming to Idaho Falls. But if you're coming from a big city and there's always something to do every night of the week and there's big events on the weekends, you are going to find that we are lacking that entertainment here in Idaho Falls. Like I said, we're starting to get a bit more. We have the new Mountain America Center here where new events are coming into town. But in terms of a vast variety of like nightclubs and bars, we just don't have that. We have a few great gems downtown, but if you're looking for a lot of different options and you love to go out on the weekends and get together with friends late at night, we really are lacking that here in Idaho Falls, so keep that in mind. One very important thing to consider, especially if you have family with specific medical needs, is our lack of specialized care in Idaho Falls. We have more than adequate care for generalized health, dentistry, pediatrics, but if your family has very specific or niche medical needs, it's very important for you to research what facilities we have for you before deciding to move here. We are about 3 hours away from Primary Children's Hospital in Salt Lake City, and I know that a lot of people who have specific medical needs from Idaho Falls end up traveling to Salt Lake City to get those needs met and the specialized care that they need. So keep that in mind. If you have specific medical needs, make sure that those needs can be met adequately here in Idaho Falls. The education system. A quick Google search will show you that Idaho education has quite a bit of room for improvement. So if you are moving students to Idaho Falls, I would recommend doing your research early and finding the right school for your student, whether that's in the city of Idaho Falls or if you choose to move a little bit farther out and go to Shelley or Rigby or somewhere outside of Idaho Falls itself. We do have a few charter and private schools in Idaho Falls, but we don't have a lot like a lot of other cities do. But we do have some online opportunities and other opportunities to kind of tailor the education to your child if that's what you choose to do. When I have clients moving from bigger cities and they're not used to the Idaho education system, I just tell them from the very beginning to make sure you get into the school early, meet the administrators, meet the teachers, and to make sure that you are your child's advocate from the very beginning so they don't slip through the cracks. With that being said, if you're considering a move to Idaho from somewhere like California, Oregon, or Washington, you're probably well aware of the difference in curriculum and what your kids are going to be taught if you move to a more conservative state. So if you are worried about the education that you're getting in California and Oregon and what your small kids are being taught, that might be the exact reason that you're choosing to move to Idaho. And you know that you might have to fill in some of the blanks that the Idaho education system leaves, and you probably are already super comfortable with that and are willing to accept that you might have to fill in a little bit for your child to get the best education they can. Another really important thing to consider before deciding if Idaho Falls is right for you is the cost of living versus the job opportunities. So if you have paid attention to the housing market in Idaho, you know over the past 4 or 5 years, the cost of living here has increased dramatically. What hasn't really caught up with the cost of living is the job opportunities and the salaries here. So it's really important to consider if you see the price of housing here and you think it's reasonable, make sure that the jobs that you can get in Idaho Falls are going to support that cost of living. So check out all the job opportunities before you decide that it's an affordable place to live, because sometimes the salaries and the cost of living aren't quite matching up here in Idaho Falls. The last thing to consider when you're considering a move to Idaho Falls is, do you really want to live in Idaho Falls? And what I mean by that is a lot of people who are coming from out of state want a little bit of land, at least an acre up to 3 acres. Well, that type of land is going to be a little bit harder to find in the city of Idaho Falls. We might need to look in Ammon or Shelley or Rigby or Rexburg to get you the Idaho land that you want. So don't just search for homes and land in Idaho Falls. We're probably gonna have to expand your search in order to get you the country feel that you're actually looking for. As always, if you're considering a move to Idaho Falls or the surrounding areas, please give me a call. I would love to see exactly what it is you're looking for and make sure that moving to Idaho Falls is the right move for you and your family.